Welcome back, everyone, to Jazz on Sports. I'm your host, Jasmine, and you guys are going to be getting me on Wednesday at midnight, or at noon. So I'm really excited about that. It's been a hectic week. We all know I've been off for like a week because we had a storm down here in Florida, so I was a little busy with that and different things like that. So it's good to be back. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the best moments. Well, me personally, my favorite and best moments from this year's Olympics. The Team USA, to kick it off, had 126 medals total with 40 gold medals. So give it up for Team USA leading the charge. But China was very close. They had 90 medals, and they were very, very close with their gold medals as well. So shout out to China as well, because they are starting to catch up. A lot of teams we saw are starting to catch up. A lot of countries and sports are starting to catch up. So when we look into it, the Olympics brought a lot of great talent out. We saw so many talents from all over the world display their great athletic abilities across a huge stage. Whatever sport it was, everyone came out and performed very, very well in their sport. And there were so many sports to choose from. But we're going to talk about the big major ones. But before we get into that, make sure to subscribe to the channel Jazz on Sports for more sports content, for more sports topic. And you can catch me every week at 12, but I often put out videos throughout the week as well. But I want to shed light on what's going on with Jordan Chiles, who is the gymnast. Her bronze medal is being revoked because there was a quote-unquote rule that she broke with her team that they went back and looked at, and they're trying to revoke her medal. I don't know how I feel about that. There's been a lot of backlash. So me personally, I'm not as well versed in gymnastics and how those rules go. But I just want to say that whatever the situation is, I hope that everyone gets their gets fairness, gets their just due, including the committee. I hope that, I saw some people on the internet saying that both women, whoever came in fourth, both of them should get the bronze medal, including Jordan, still keep it, but share it with someone else and not solely take it away, because that's a big deal. That's, if you're taking someone's medal away, that's a huge, huge thing. So it's not like something that, oh, whatever. No, this is a medal. This is something that she prepared her whole life for, and she came in third in the world in that event. So hopefully this situation gets resolved. I know they're still going back and forth about it. It's still a very hot topic, but we hope that Jordan is able to keep it and they're able to get down to what is the real issue. So hopefully Jordan keeps that medal. Now, without further ado, let's get into some of the standout moments in the Olympics. Obviously, first on the list is the USA men's basketball team. They went undefeated, which I knew they would, just dominating through. And I think as the tournament went on, it got more competitive. I know it started with the semifinals with Serbia. Serbia had a 17-point lead on them. And then Steph Curry with 36 points came out of nowhere. LeBron's getting it done. AD's playing defense. So this team just turned on the Jets, and they just really got into their bag in that semifinals game. Then we get to the gold medal game with which happened on Sunday. And it was really exciting to see because France, we'll get into the women's side as well, but France, this was the first time the men's and women's basketball team made it to the gold medal together. So that was a huge moment because both teams were very good and they did what they needed to do in the tournament. Victor Wembanyama, who's the young phenom in the NBA right now, he was the number 1 overall pick last season. So he led his team to the gold medal game. It was a hard-fought game back and forth. But again, Steph Curry was the unsung hero in those last few minutes of the game, shooting 4 straight three-pointers. Can you believe that? Steph Curry, he is the greatest shooter that the game has ever seen. He had 17 threes total in both games, and it's just what he's able to do when he was on. They just let him cook. They just let him do what you need to do, Steph Curry. He did the sleepy time thing. Everybody was excited. Everybody was really amped up for the men, and they win their 5th straight gold medal as a USA basketball team. But overall, I just want to say that teams are catching up. Even though I think Team USA, there's too much firepower. That's why they're still here and they're still dominating. But there's too much firepower on this team, and the world also is watching, and the world is catching up. We look at Nikola Jokic. They won bronze. Serbia, shout out to them. They won bronze. So that was a big deal for them. Canada, who I thought was going to go a little further, they were eliminated. So I was really shocked about that because they have Shai there. They have Dylan Brooks. They have Dylan Brooks there, and RJ Barrett was there, and different things like that. So I was really shocked that they didn't make it as far as they did. So that is interesting. But shout out to the men's USA basketball team. This will be LeBron's last USA basketball team, so the reports were saying, and this is a sad moment because we all know that I'm a LeBron James fan. But shout out to Team USA, and hopefully 4 years in LA, which is going to happen in 2028, that we can get another gold medal with the young guys as well. On to the women's side. Women's USA basketball team wins gold, and they've been winning gold for the longest time as well. But this game was much, much closer. It was a 1-point game to end it. France's women was ready to play. They did phenomenal. But again, firepower on women's USA team. So I'm so excited for them. Shout out to A'ja Wilson. She won the MVP, and she is the unsung hero for them. Kelsey Plum and a lot of them, they did their thing. And it just shows again why the women's basketball that we've been talking about has been the hottest topic right now in sports outside of the Olympics, of how dominant they've been. We know the whole conversation of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but technically they didn't need them. They won the gold. They brought the gold medal home. We will see Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in 2028. So that is something that we can prepare for to see. So shout out to the women's USA basketball team. And A'ja Wilson again shows why she is the best female basketball player in the world right now currently. On to track and field. There's a lot that happened with track and field, but we're going to start with the good and then we're going to get to the bad. Sha'Carri Richardson. That's my girl I was rooting for. I was so glad to see her win that relay for our women's team, the 4x1 relay. Our girls did a phenomenal job. She was in the last heat. She started off fourth when she got the baton. It was not a clean handoff, but she caught up. I mean, she went high stepping, and then she turned and looked to her opponents, and she was out the window. So shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson after the bounce back that she had. She did get silver in the women's 100 gold medal too. And she lost to Julien Alfred out of St. Lucia. And I want to give a special shout out to Julien because that was St. Lucia's first medal ever. They won gold, and for them to win their first ever was gold in the women's category was phenomenal. So that was their first time ever as a country getting a medal, period. So shout out to her for what she was able to do. I'm not going to get into the particulars of what has happened because I think that the Jamaican team, the women's Jamaicans, they did not perform, and Kellyanne Frazier, the legend, she did not participate in that event due to an injury. But there was a lot going on with Sha'Carri Richardson and her trying to warm up prior to that match and prior to that event. But the Olympics were having some issues and sending them to different locations. But I'm not going to get too much deeper into that because that was a lot going on. But this is the moment is for Julien Alfred for winning her country its first ever medal in the Olympics with gold. So shout out to her. But Sha'Carri Richardson is that girl. She's going to continue to be that girl, and she's going to continue to get her just due I expect to see her back in 2028 as well. The GOAT, Simone Biles. Simone Biles, 3 gold medals. What's new? She dominated through a whole calf injury. She did her thing, and she just showed why the women's gymnastics, USA women's gymnastics, is at the top of the mound. She is the greatest gymnast, male or female. I don't care anymore. We are here to say it. She is just what she stands for and how she embodies her craft and her being the greatest of all time as a gymnast. It takes a lot of energy to be a gymnast. I've seen what they were able to do and seeing some of her when she was younger and some of the tapes that she did in the footage. That is not an easy sport to compete in. It's not an easy sport to do, period. They have to have a certain diet. They have to have a certain routine, stretch. Just so many things go into play when being a gymnast. And Simone Biles was able to show the world why she is the greatest and why she holds the crown as the greatest gymnast ever to do this. And she's going to continue to show that. And just seeing all the other women look up to her, not just from the USA, but other women from other countries really giving her props and just watching her greatness. It is just phenomenal to see. If they're able to change the rules because of you and they have to do certain things because of you, you know you're great. So shout out to Simone Biles for being the greatest and continuing to show why she is the best in the gymnastics sport. But there's another girl we have to talk about, and that's Katie Ledecky. She is the woman with the most medals. She's tied for the most medals in swimming. She's the best female swimmer. I mean, I don't understand what the conversation is for her to do what she did. And let's get into some of the statistics. She won gold for the 800-meter freestyle. First woman to win for 4 consecutive Olympic Games. She's done that. And she has 14 medals total. So that's her tie for, the most medals ever as a woman. And she has 9 gold medals. Most gold medals for a woman, period. Katie Ledecky, you are a GOAT. I watched you compete. You did a phenomenal job. And the swim team for USA did a phenomenal job, men and women. So they did a great number, and they were able to get a lot of medals for our USA team. So shout out to Katie and shout out to the swim team. Then we have another GOAT, Cindy McLaughlin. She is the hurdle queen. We saw what she was able to do. She broke her own record. She broke the world record for the 100-meter hurdles. She won 4 gold medals. I mean, there's no question, and it wasn't even close, y'all. Like, if you look at the replays, if you saw it real time, she was completely ahead of everyone in that event. And I ran track in middle school, which was ages ago, and the amount of pressure you have to have, the amount of just you alone, it's not even a relay, but you alone doing what you needed to do in that event. And hurdles is very hard. It's a certain technique to do it. You have to have a good lead off, obviously, when you start off in the event, and you can't touch the hurdle at all. So we all know that if you touch it, you're out, and different things like that. But she just did it with such grace and such ease. She's been doing this, so she is the greatest hurdler as well, because she broke the record, broke the world record in the 400-meter hurdles for 50:37 is time. First woman to go back-to-back in the gold event, period. So, I mean, she did what she needed to do. And again, the women are dominating. They dominated in this year's Olympics. USA women's long jump, we won in that event. So the women did a phenomenal job in the Olympics. But before we get into the next one, I want to say I was I think the world was disappointed with Jamaica, like Jamaican athletes, as far as track and field, because we know they are legends in track and field, and they've had our number for years. We look at Usain Bolt, Jeter, you look at Kellyanne Frazier, things like that. So I was really shocked that the Jamaicans did not do as well, and I was looking forward to seeing them because I'm fans of them as well. But I was really shocked that they didn't do their best. I know they won silver in the 100-meter. We're going to get into Noah Lyles as well. That was a hectic situation. But I just hope the Jamaicans, I think they're going to bounce back. They're still one of the fastest countries in the world. But we had to show out. USA had to do what they had to do to show that we are here and we're not to be played with, especially our women. We're not to be played with. But let's get into Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles, he won his first ever gold medal, or first ever medal, period, with gold in the 100-meter. And it was by a hair. 1/5 of a second. It was just that close. And there was so much conversation because we thought the Jamaicans won that heat. But when it comes to track and field, the rules are, it's not about the foot, it's about the torso of the body getting across the line. So Noah Lyles was able to do it. And I saw so many memes. If anyone has watched Cars, the Pixar Cars, you saw that Lightning McQueen used his tongue to get across that last race that he did at the end of the movie. That was kind of what they thought Noah Lyles did with that. So that was really cool to see. But shout out to Noah Lyles. I hope he gets better because I know he had COVID. He was supposed to run in that the relays that we did not a good job at. I'll get into that in a minute. But shout out to Noah Lyles. I hope he gets better. I know I expect to see him next Olympics as well. He's going to continue to get better, and hopefully, he can get more gold medals as well for the win. But speaking of the men's track and field relays USA, this is the 5th straight year that they did not do a great handoff. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what type of techniques we're doing. This is the 5th year in the Olympics consecutively that we have messed up in the relays, and that is a big problem. We cannot continue to have this, especially on the biggest stage, where we're a laughing stock. I mean, so many people are dragging us. And this is after Sha'Carri Richardson did what she did in her relays, when the women did what they needed to do. And the men came back and laid an egg. It was horrible. The handoff was horrible. And we finished dead last. That's embarrassing. So the men, we need to get it together. I believe we need a whole new coaching system, new staff. And I know someone was going in depth about, it's not about popularity. It's about craft and making sure we have the people in place that are good. So if that's the case, we need to do what we need to do in order to make sure that in 2028, that doesn't happen again. The Olympics overall was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. And I think that as years go on, we're going to see a lot more talent. I'm super excited for the next Olympics 2028. That's going to be in the United States, in LA. That's going to be insane. The traffic already is going to be crazy. Hopefully, me and the Leon Thomas group are there. We're going to try to be there for sure to get a glimpse of a lot of these great athletes. Jazz on Sports will definitely be there to talk about all these great moments. Softball will be there. Flag football will be there. So I'm really, really excited to see those sports being added. Baseball is going to be added. We're going to be really, really in tune with that because these are sports that are on the rise. And I'm really excited to see flag football being in the mix. So this is going to be huge. Also, everyone, make sure you comment your favorite moments from this year's Olympics and what you expect in 2028 in American, what you expect, who is your favorite player to watch, favorite country to watch. Who do you expect to see win gold next time? And do we see anyone new that is under the radar that we don't know anything about? So comment some of your favorite moments from the Olympics and what you expected better. Like, is there anything that you see that needs to be improvements on? Again, we talked about what happened to Jordan Chiles. We talked about a lot of those things. We talked about the timing of different things like that. So do you see anything changing with that? And could this situation be could it help have impact in the future for gymnastics, and could it change, for gymnastics? So definitely comment your thoughts and make sure you subscribe to Jazz on Sports. Thank you all for showing your support, and I look to see you guys next week for more content. Have a good one.